Why do some images sell incredibly well while others get zero downloads? I'm diving into that question today and looking at some brand new AI images just uploaded to Adobe Stock. I'm going to rate new images based on what I know about selling not just AI images, but also stock photography, illustrations, and animations in general, based on my 16 years of selling at the major agencies. I've mentioned in my other videos that I've grown my income to 6 figures over the years, and I'm going to put the insights I've gathered along the way to use in evaluating some of the latest content that contributors are uploading. I'm going to base my judgment on what I believe to be the commercial value of each image, or lack thereof, plus how well the contributor wrote a title and, more importantly, the keywords. As I go over each image, I'm going to give it a score to indicate what I think its earning potential will be on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being no potential for sales and 5 being extremely high potential. Of course, I could be wrong in my assessments. I'm not a fortune teller, and some of my predictions will end up being wrong. But like I said a moment ago, I've been trying to predict how my own content will perform for many years now, and I think I've developed a decent sense for what's worth spending time on and what isn't. I apologize if I'm talking about your content and suggesting it won't perform well. Please take this to be constructive criticism that might help you earn more money moving forward. So let's get started. To start out, I'm going to stock.adobe.com, doing a blank search, opening the filters on the left, and selecting generative AI content only. Then I go to the right and sort by most recent. So we're looking at about 47 million AI-generated images on Adobe Stock right now. These are the most recently uploaded. Here is one. The first one we'll look at is this landscape of trees, kind of in a mist, called Misty Landscape. The title itself could be more descriptive to, again, give you better SEO when you are uploading the images and pages are generated for the content. Looking at the keywords, there are a number of very generic keywords describing mountain, landscape, fog, sky, mist, etc. So not a bad image. It's, I think, going to have limited commercial value. I'm going to call this a 3. There's room for text on it, but again, it's something that I question how many people will be looking for an image of misty landscape. Here's one. It's a tunnel of trees called Luminous Arch Tunnel. It's a very short title. I think people should be more descriptive with their titles that they're putting in, because URLs will be generated based on this. A fairly small number. This is maybe 24 title or keywords. Again, I'm not suggesting anybody spam with the keywords and really load them up with something that is not going to be applicable. I think there are some in here that aren't applicable. A church. This is not depicting a church. It's an attractive photo, but again, I question the number of people who would need an image like this. I'm going to call this a 2. Not as much opportunity to put text onto the image. Here's an image of a modern cottage with solar panels. That's what the name is given to this image. When obviously this is not a modern cottage. I think this was uploaded with an error. The title was probably meant to be some kind of a gymnasium. Looking at the keywords, city, building, urban, architectural, people. I think this was mis-keyworded and mistitled. So this is a 1, because somebody does a search and finds this image. It does not mean what they were looking for. Now here is a modern cottage with solar panels by the same uploader. So this one is an attractive cottage with solar panels. Again, that's modern, clean energy. That's what I find to be a high in demand topic. Let's take a look at what the keywords are here. City, building. Now, again, this is not a city, I would say. This is a rural setting. Urban, I think this is mis-keyworded in some of these cases. City, landscape. This is not correctly keyworded, so I think that is going to limit its ability to find the right customers, or vice versa. I'm going to call this a 2 for that reason. Here's a bowl of food. Same contributor. It's interesting. It's kind of just some mixed vegetables and mix of cooked vegetables in bowl. I think there is certainly a market for food images out there, how great it is and how many people specifically want this mix of vegetables. I'm going to give this a 2 because it's a highly competitive space to have food images, and nothing really is going to make this jump out from all the other images out there. And again, a very brief title, a more descriptive title, longer title could have helped it. Again, this is the same person uploading content here, luxury gold product backgrounds. So I would probably add a little bit more description to that to say a round platform, cylindrical. Somebody might be looking for some kind of a round base to put some other type of image onto. I would include the words round, circular base in this to help people find it. Let's see if that's in the keywords. Yeah, again, I don't see round in the... Yeah, there's round, okay. Circular, I think, could have been added. Again, not bad. I think this does have some potential. Better keywording and titling could have helped it. I'd probably give this a 3 as well. I'm going to skip ahead so I'm not just reviewing the work of a single contributor here. Here's an image from another contributor, JBN. The name of the image is Concept du Savior. I think a best practice is to put titles in English, and it can then be translated into other languages, but generally the agencies prefer to have titles and keywords in English. I think this one has some potential. To me, I would say it's got a little bit of errors in here. If you look at the angle of the light bulb hitting the book, the fingers look okay. Some of the images inside of these circles looked a little sketchy, and I think I would have put more concepts such as idea. You see a bulb, you see icon, you see business concept technology, but when you see a light bulb in an image with a brain, it's thinking, it's innovating, it's idea generation, and I don't see those keywords here. So for all those reasons, I'm going to say this one is a 2. Looking at this map of the US. So this is a title that's much longer. It's much more packed with descriptive information. I think this is a better use of titling. Some people might say this is spamming with words in the title, but it's very descriptive, and that will ultimately help people find this image. A world map with interconnected lines representing global financial transaction powered by blockchain technology, foreshadowing the borderless nature of finance in the future. So I might have made it a little bit shorter. I think it's at the risk of somebody at Adobe rejecting it if a person looks at it. I don't know that they like titles this long, but it made it through, so it worked. This is actually a video file, so it's an AI-generated video, and I do think there's good revenue potential here. In my experience, maps do sell well. Innovation, technology, he's got a good number, or she has a good number of words in the title. What's limiting it, in my opinion, is the number of keywords entered. I think more could have been entered. Again, not spamming, but there's a lot of different concepts, I think, that could have been added. So I'm going to give this a score of 4 out of 5. Let's look at this image of a cat by Digital LYS. And it's an attractive image. I don't see anything wrong with it off the top here. The problem with it is it's very generic. I think there are probably a million images, frankly, just like this one. Aside from there being some white space around it, somebody wanted to maybe crop the left edge off and put some copy to the right that allows them to do that. So I think it gets points for having that ability. Siberian Cat in a crouched position is a brief title. I think it could have been including more, such as copy space for text, something else to really spell out the value to the customer with this image. The keywords, it's a fair number here, a couple dozen describing the cat. I don't see anything calling out that there's white space, copy space for text in the keywords. I think that's generally a good thing to include. Let's look at some of these other illustrated cities. Twilight in the Old City by Maura Gray. I think the title itself could have been elaborated on, more descriptive words in the title. The keywords, just about 6 keywords here are phrases. I think this really could be broadened quite a bit more. It could be brick street, reflective light on street, these type of phrases, or that reflective light on brick street could be something that's added to the title, but reflective light, old world city, I don't see much in here. You know, this is kind of a traditional historic street, and I think more descriptive words along those lines could have added to this. As it stands, I think it has limited appeal and limited ability to attract buyers because of the titles and keywords. I'm going to have to say this is a 1. Let's look at some of these animals here. Playful mixed breed dog lying down by Digital LYS. So again, good white space around here for someone to put text around it. It's attention grabbing with the eyes looking directly ahead with the mouth open and teeth. It's very emotive. And sometimes that's something that, you know, a customer really wants something that's going to grab their own audience's attention. And I think this image does that. So it's something that maybe doesn't have as much competition as just a plain old image of a dog with mouth closed. So I think that's to its advantage. Got a lot of keywords here, so really taking advantage of the opportunity. So because of the keywording and because of the white space, the emotive look on the dog's face sets it apart from other dogs out there. I'm going to call this a 3. Let's look at some of these vehicles. The back of a sports car by Vladimir. Let's take a look at the keywords. So a good number of keywords here to describe the image. It's an attractive vehicle photo with good contrast, a good dark background where text could be placed around it. The title could be a little more descriptive. I do think because of the number of images out there of modern-looking sports cars, I think it's going to have a lot of competition out there. I would probably say 2 for that reason, since it's fairly generic looking, and the competition and the lack of a more descriptive title, I think those are things that will hurt it. Health insurance concept, people magnifier, holding plus and healthcare medical icon, health and access to welfare health concept. Now, look at the number of words. Health is in here 3 times on its own, once within healthcare. I think that is in danger of being called out as spamming and perhaps rejected for that reason. But overall, I think it's an image that is of high commercial value. These are topics that customers do want images about, and I think that it's got good use of a blurred background here that could be good for copy to appear alongside it. I think that would be something to call out as opposed to some of the repeated use of the word health in the title. Let's look at the keywords. Keywords are really a good number. I think it's kind of pushing the max of what's allowable here. It looks like maybe 3 to 4 dozen, but I think they are on target for this. So I think the only thing that I would hold against this one is too much use of the word health, and I think more could have been done to play up the copy space in the image itself. So I would give this a 4. Let's look at this airplane shot. Airport with a white color and a terminal shape and a freight overlay on the gate. So this is an airplane with a white color. So I think the fact that the title does not contain the word plane or airplane, I think is a knock against it. Makes it harder for people to find this image. Let's see if the word plane is inside the keywords. I do see jet, aircraft, plane. Okay, so the keywords look like they're on target here. Again, I think that's a miss with the title being inaccurate, leaving out the word plane or jet. I think those both could have been in there. Overall, I think good use of negative space here that could be used for copy. I think that's something that could be called out in the title and in the keywords. It's not jumping out at me in the keywords here. I think that could be included. So again, but this type of topic is something that is high commercial value. I think it is overall an attractive image. I would say this is a 4, could have been higher with, again, better titling, I think. So here is a small toy vehicle in what looks to be a bedroom or a hallway. It's hard to tell, but it's a miniature vehicle, rests on a polished wooden floor, its wheels poised to conquer the indoor terrain, while a nearby window frames the building beyond, and the wall offers support for the daring toy. So this is a title that I think could have been trimmed down a bit. I think there's a few words in there that don't really add much to its searchability. The word conquer, poised, nearby. I mean, it's fine to say window. Now, the image itself, it's to me a little bit awkward. It's a very large toy. It's hard to tell if this is something that a child would ride in, or is it more of like a Hot Wheels Matchbox type toy? To me, it's much larger than that. So I think that makes it a little bit awkward, hurts its commercial appeal. So this is a 1 or a 2 to me. I'm going to have to go with a 1. A number of images of doctors and pharmacies, it appears. I'm going to pull this out of a pharmacist rather than a doctor. A handsome professional male pharmacist uses a digital tablet, checks the availability of medicines at the pharmacy, modern technologies, health products, healthcare concepts. So, okay, health is in there a couple times, but only once on its own. I think that makes it safer to get it through. The image itself, I think, is attractive. It is a high commercial topic because of healthcare, because of pharmacies, because of prescription drugs. I think it gets points for all of those things. Let's take a look at the keywords. Good keywording, it appears here. I'd say the one thing that limits it perhaps is the ability to put text around it. But again, I think overall, high commercial value, good title, and good keywords. This is probably a 5. Here's an interesting one. Hard to tell what this is. A colorful and futuristic gaming console surrounded by neon lights and wires sitting in the center of the lounge. So this is a video. To me, I had a hard time really making out the image. There's so much going on here. It's very busy. I think gaming in general is a high commercial value topic. I probably would have tried again to make the controller a little more defined from the background. It's got good title, it's got good keywording. I'm going to give this a 2. Let's look at the no smoking image here. It's pretty unusual for AI to get text correct, so get kind of bonus points for that one. Although this G seems to have an extra little bump in it here. But overall, AI did a good job with the text, which is unusual, like I said. Smoke surrounding the words no smoking on a bright background. So the title itself is descriptive. It's interesting to see the smoke around the words. I think it is a high commercial value topic. I think it probably could have used a few more words related to habit, unhealthy, has healthy lifestyle, but not unhealthy lifestyle. I think that, the idea of smoking being something that damages your health, I think a few more of those negative type words could have made it in here. But overall, I would say this is a 4. So we have this heart image, bokeh lights in heart shape on a black background. So very straightforward about what it is. Let's look at the keywords. A good number of keywords: shimmering, sparkling, glistening, artistic. I assume the word heart is in here. Is it possible that heart is not in the keywords? That's a major miss if that is the case. So again, I might be missing it. Heart should have been the number 1 keyword in that list. Again, Adobe gives you basically a boost for your keywords that are in the top 7, top 10. Those actually get a little bit more of a boost in the algorithm when somebody's doing a search. So got the word heart in the title, but not in the keywords. I think that really damages it here. For that reason, I'm going to have to knock it down to a 2. So here's an image of a man, a wooden judge, gavel, and soundboard. I'm looking for the soundboard in this image. I'm not seeing a soundboard, so I'm not sure what element that is. And it looks to me a little awkward here with there's this wooden post or stake to the right of the person's head. Is it hard to tell what's going on here? Was this post, did he drive this large wooden stake through his head? So very awkward image. It does not have a soundboard in the image. I don't think somebody looking for an image of a judge would go for this. Let's look at the keywords. Gavel, hammer. So it's got a fair number of keywords. I think it's keyworded fairly well. But again, very awkward image. And I think the title could have been better. I'd have to say this is a 1. I think very few people will download this. All right, Bitcoin image. Investment, cryptocurrency concept, circuit of fortune, a neon lit circuit board leading to a vault of digital wealth, with isolated white background and cute digital innovation style. So not a bad title, kind of long. I think a few words could have come on with that. I think Bitcoin itself is left off because it is sometimes a problematic term that may not be allowable in an image. 6 keywords here or key phrases. I think that's very limiting, and I think much more could have been added here, such as cryptocurrency. The image itself isn't bad. The title could have been trimmed, and the keywords are insufficient, so I'm going to have to give this a 2, even though the subject itself is high commercial value. So here's cat wallpaper, portrait of a cat. There is a cat who's wearing glasses in his eyes, and he is also wearing clothes. Multiple instances of the word cat. I think that, like I said, can be a problem. Not sure why the title starts with a period. That must have been a mistake. Other words in here that really don't need to be there. Glasses are not in your eyes. They are over your eyes. So it's an awkward title. The image itself, I think, is it's cute, but I think limited commercial value. The subject matter itself, I don't think there's a lot of people who need an image of a cat wearing glasses and wearing some kind of a cape. It's got some decent keywording, so good job there. But I think just strange title and strange image itself, I'm going to have to call it a 1. The abstract art print is made using a golden texture created by performing freehand oil painting on canvas. It uses brush strokes of paint and is a modern art print. To me, this sounds like AI wrote this title, but I think the contributor here should have really edited it down so it made more sense. Keywords, again, I think this is an example of something that was keyworded as well with AI and not properly checked. It's abstract. It's not a bad design. I could see somebody wanting it, but very hard to find, given the title and keywording, and there being so many abstract images. I'm going to give this a 1. Interesting image of a magnifying glass. Again, the same contributor. With magnifying glass and a bulb, a man searches for the world's consumption. Searches for the world's consumption with an icon representing renewable energy sources. I don't see an icon representing renewable energy sources. I think the title is very awkward. The image itself could almost be something usable. I think whatever shape this is inside the magnifying glass is not clear, does not signify, to me, renewable energy. Maybe a battery of some kind, but that's hard to tell. I'd have to give this a 1. I think too much of this was left to the AI, to keyword, to title, and the image itself could have been cleaned up with a more accurate or more understandable image inside that magnifying glass. So a number of cats on a skateboard, a Sphinx cat riding. You really need the word skateboard in the title to make it more easily found. Let's see if... So, dog. This is not a dog. The word dog does not belong in the keywords. I think this is a very limited appeal image. How many people need an image of a Sphinx cat riding a skateboard through fire? Poorly titled and keyworded. This has got to be a 1. So now we have a smiling girl leaning on desk with books in classroom with other children background. So I think the title is pretty good. It's describing exactly what's in there. Other children in the background. The keywords, woman, student, children, book. Don't see the word girl. To me, that's a very big omission. The word girl would not bring up this image. So I think that's a big miss. Otherwise, I do think it's a high commercial value image, something that is very competitive. There'd be a lot of other images like this. I think it really does need better keywording for it to be found. So I'd have to knock it for that. So I'd probably say 3 on this one. So here we have, I'm going to mispronounce this, lukaimat, a traditional Arabic dessert of sweet dumplings enjoyed during Ramadan. So I think this has some good commercial value. It's a very specific cultural image. Ramadan, it makes it very timely, of course, right now that we're in Ramadan. I think it is an attractive image, not really space for copy, but I wouldn't necessarily knock it for that. It's got a good title. Keywording-wise, Ramadan Dessert, Arabic sweet dumpling. I think looks like it's well keyworded. I think this is a solid image. I think it's very specific, which in some ways hurts it, that somebody who may not want this particular food in an image. But again, there's probably very little competition for this. And again, the specificity of it, I think he makes it niche. To me, this is a 5. And we'll wrap it up there. I hope you got some value out of this review of some of the latest AI content uploaded at Adobe Stock. Be sure to take my new survey on creating and uploading new AI content to send to the agencies. Also sign up for my newsletter where I'll be sharing the data from my most recent and my upcoming survey. And until next time, I'll see you soon.